Chattisfying.
Excellent. Well, let's get into it then, shall we? So, let's start with the shroomy one. So, tell us everything, all about you and your stream and your content that you make on the interwebs.
Wow, that's a story. That's a big. Just tell us everything. Well,
yeah,
that's a
literally
story,
everything.
man.
When I was 5, I got a SNES.
I have to Google. I have streamed. How long has it been? How many days? January 11th, 2018. 1,408 days in a row.
Wow.
That's
you stream every single day?
That's how every day.
Damn.
Every day since I started. Whether it's a funeral, a wedding I have to go to that day, doesn't matter. I stream. Whether I'm out all day and I get home at 11:30 p.m., I go live. Like, what's up, y'all? I call it an attendance stream. I was still there. You know what I mean? And, I stream everything. I'm a variety streamer, but by definition, if it's a game, I've played it on stream unless it's Madden. If it's, I probably own it. If it's not Madden, just because I don't like playing Madden.
Madden's
the only
American
game I can think
football,
of I
isn't
don't
it?
like. Yeah, I just don't like American football.
Fair enough.
I don't either, but yeah, I play everything. I play all the new releases. Playing Battlefield today. Been playing GTA Trilogy the last week. Still got to beat Far Cry. Just beat Guardians of the Galaxy. If it comes out and it's a new game, I probably am interested in and will be playing it on launch day. So,
did you ever complete Persona 5?
No, still in the middle of it. 56 hours in, I think.
About halfway through.
That's a back burner game when we're at once we're in game drought mode and I'm like, hey, no new games have come out and I'm bored. We go back to Persona 5.
Sounds good. So you've been streaming for what, 3 years, every single day?
Almost 4 years. 4 years January.
So you mentioned these what do you call them? The streams where you just
attendance
streams. How short could they be?
Oh man, the shortest. I mean, so like I had COVID before anybody knew that it was COVID. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
My son got sick, and they thought that it was strep throat. Gave him meds for strep. That didn't help. And now we know what it was. It was COVID. He gave it to my wife. He gave it to me. Only I had it weird. I had it really, really strong for like 3 days instead of for a whole month. I was dying on the couch for like 3 days. I thought I was gonna die. I had to have like my mom come to my house and bring me water and food. I streamed those days from my phone, laying on the couch with a bucket next to me in case I had to puke. Like, what's up, y'all? Those were about an hour long.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I can't believe I've been live for an hour every one of these days. So I think the shortest an attendance stream has ever been is like a half hour because I'm like, yo, what's up? I'm here. Rough day. I gotta go. I love you guys. Let's look at a YouTube video. What games are coming out? Sorry, stream is short.
Fair play. Do you ever do like just chatting streams or anything, or is there always a game there?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, rarely. A couple times I've done it just chatting. I've always wanted to do like take a phone and go out somewhere interesting and stream, but
Yeah.
I've never had the opportunity. I also don't have a phone that has service because I never leave my house.
Yeah.
Ever.
Fair enough. Sounds like the perfect life there, not having to leave your house though.
I mean, I'm going stir crazy. I would like to be able to leave when I want to, but you know, I can't. Just
Fair
here.
enough. And how do you pick what games you're going to play on stream?
Well, it used to be when I started streaming, because I've always been like an intense gamer. Gaming is like my favorite thing ever. My whole life is based around what games are coming out next. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like if there's not a big new game coming out, I'm bored. If there is, I'm hyped waiting for it. I'm just that's how I've always been. As a kid, I saved up every dollar I could. I've had every console on launch day. I'm just like an addict style gamer in a good way. And so when I started streaming, I just transferred that. I just basically continued doing what I do on a daily basis in my head which has always been a personal thing, and just turn the camera on and talk to people about it. And, you know, that's evolved a little bit over the years because now I don't stream as much as I used to because I full-time trade on the stock market. My son's getting older. Stuff is different now. I used to stream like 10 hours a day, every day. It was ridiculous. So I could fit all of my gaming in on stream. If I felt like playing a game, I'd click the camera on. But so things have changed a little bit, and now I have to pick a little more. Like for example, I have the GTA trilogy that just came out, and I chose throughout the last week to play GTA, mostly San Andreas on stream.
Yeah.
Before, I would have been like, we're playing through all 3 games 100%, and I wouldn't have let myself play anything off stream. But now I'm like, if I don't let myself play through these 3 massive GTA games off stream when I have time, I'll never play them. There's too many games coming out, so now I have to pick and choose what I'm going to play when. But I wish I could just play everything that I love on stream.
Yeah, of course.
Usually it's whatever's newest because that's what I'm craving. But the main rule that I stick to is if I play what I want to. If I don't feel like playing it, then why play it? If I'm having fun, you're not having fun watching me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I'm like, today we're gonna play Grand Theft Auto tomorrow, but I shift. I feel like playing Riders Republic instead. I'm not gonna be like, we're playing GTA because I promised. I'd be like, sorry y'all, I just don't want to play GTA right now. I gotta play this game. I'm craving it. And people would be like, yeah, that's fine. I've never had anybody be like, what? I was looking forward to this. I'm pissed off because I'm live every day.
Yeah.
And they're always gonna see what they want to see.
No, that's cool because you're focusing on what you're hyped about, and that's pretty much what you do. Is you hype about everything that you like game wise coming out. So it's nice.
Yeah.
You're bringing people along with the ride. That's cool.
Right.
Instead of being like, I'm stuck on this and all that kind of stuff, and this is what I've got to do. You're just like, fuck it, I'm going to enjoy everything I do, which is brilliant. I like that. That's cool.
That's amazing as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's so completely the opposite paradigm to the way that I stream as well. Because like, I play mostly older games. Like it's very rare that I'll play a game that's less than 5 years old, and quite often you're going like back further than that. I draw the line around sort of when I really got into video games, which is sort of like the N64 era, sort of GameCube, that kind of time. I don't really go back further than that. But yeah, it's quite interesting. It's nice to see because you do get the streamers occasionally that are all about the new games. The problem for me with new games is I don't really keep my ear to the floor with like new games and all this kind of thing. And because I've got all these older games that I can play, like for me, it's cheaper, and the older games for me are just as fun. But if you've already
Definitely
just
cheaper.
rinsed all of those, then yeah, it's great, and it's so great to see where someone who's like really enthusiastic about them is like, oh, I can't wait for this to come out, can't wait to play it, all this kind of thing. And when someone gets into it, and you get all that extra information from the stream because they know their shit. And that's,
I mean, and it's not like I'm only hyped about the new games that are coming out because they're new.
yeah,
I'm hyped about them because I've played everything else. Isaac,
that's kind of what I was saying. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've played everything, so I want to know what's that new thing that's coming out, because is it gonna push gaming further? Is it gonna show me something I haven't seen? I have 2,500 video games.
Yeah.
And that's just now in my current adult life that I started collecting 11 years ago. If you count the total amount of games I've had throughout my life, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I've played a lot of games. So I'm always looking for like what's next.
Amazing. Now
That's why I'm so hyped for Battlefield. Like I'm not a big multiplayer shooter style gamer, and I love them, but I don't buy them on day one. I don't buy Call of Duty or Battlefield or anything on day one. I wait for crazy sales because I know I can get some fun out of them, but that's not necessarily my favorite cup of tea. But Battlefield, look at it. Look at the trailers for it. It's 128 people in what looks like the most gorgeous graphical game I've ever seen, running at 60 frames on a console. I want to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It looks good. Now you mentioned obviously like before you used to do like 10-hour streams every day, and now you don't have time. What happened? What's the difference in your life that caused you to not have time?
When I started, Isaac he just turned 4, I think, and there was no school for him, which you would think would be the opposite. Oh, there's no school, so if he goes to school, I should have more time, but that's not true. There was no school for him. He was just your wake up and watch cartoons and run around the house kind of kid, and he was easier at certain times of the day to just let him do his thing and not necessarily need the full attention of dad.
Yeah.
And now there's many more times throughout the day where he needs my attention. Otherwise, like I can't be like, get out of here, kid, for his whole life. You kids don't turn out well like that. I got to be able to be like, all right, son, you and me for the next 3 hours, we're going to do this thing. Or if he's like, hey, dad, can we do this? I can't be like, no, I've been on stream for 7 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas when he was 4, he couldn't do that. It wasn't like that. Like he could, but he didn't. it's just different. Not to mention, back then I didn't trade on the stock market at all.
Hmm.
And when I started trading within the last year, that is something that if I don't focus on it and take it seriously, I'm just going to lose all my money. And if it's something, if I do focus on it and take it seriously, because I have the luxury of being home, being that stay-at-home dad, I can make a lot of money and change my entire life. You know what I mean? And like really achieve financial freedom. So streaming has never been something that I feel should feel like an obligation.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, well, if I turn the stock market into my job, I can still stream. Streaming has always been a hobby. You know what I mean? So now I stock market from 6:30 in the morning until stock closes. Stop calling me Discord people. Until stock closes, until the market closes, and then within that hour I go live and stream until I am too tired
Yeah,
to keep my eyes open.
I feel that.
Nice.
I feel that.
Then I make dinner and work out and feed the kid and all the things. Then I have to get off stream and wake myself back up to do the dad things for the rest of the night.
Now,
But I still squeeze that 2 hour, 3 hour time frame in when I
That's
can
good.
every day.
That's
No,
good,
that's
man.
good, man.
Yeah, I want to understand this. Feel like I've got a bit of a vested interest as a father of a 2-year-old. How does this work? The child goes to school, but you have less time.
Because when the child starts going to school, they're essentially getting older and changing. To him, it's not that he's going to school that's giving me less time. It's the fact that he's old enough to go to school. That when he's here, he takes up more of my time. Not to mention things like homework, things like the teachers calling me each day to tell me that there's a list. And it's like, okay, so now I have to do parent teacher conferences on Thursdays, and I have to do homework with this kid, and I have to make sure he knows how to read, and I need to make sure that the manners I've been teaching him for his whole life he's actually doing. And when he doesn't do them, I have to punish him. When I punish him, I can't just say go to your room and sit here and stream. I have to stand there and arms crossed and lecture and be the dad. And there's just so much more time you have to dedicate when the kid is of a conscious level where he can be like, but dad, what do you mean? And you're like, like you got to put yourself back to where the kid was and be like, what if I was him right now? And I was, and he was my dad. And I was like, but dad. And it's just, it takes up so much more mental time than it does when they're younger. And they're just like, ice cream,
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
The more they become little people, the more they take up your, not just your actual physical time, but your mental time in a good way, but in a tiring and very exhausting kind of way.
Interesting. I've always found, probably because I've got a vested interest, but I've always kind of found sort of streaming parenting quite an interesting topic. I honestly think every guest that we've had on that's a parent, I've asked them about it. So it's very interesting to see sort of how different people essentially balance the whole thing. Because obviously there's two things that take up a huge amount of time and energy and mental space. And you gotta balance that, and yeah, it's great seeing people sort of get that balance and all that kind of thing,
Yeah,
All right,
it's
well, okay,
it's a challenge, but it's worth it.
for sure, for sure. So, out of all of these, I would imagine hundreds of games that you've streamed, what's been your favorite?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Wow, that was a really quick and sure answer.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
come? What happened with?
I streamed it for like 250 hours or something of just that. The only game that I've streamed anywhere near as long as I stream Red Dead is Fortnite, and Fortnite was just we got nothing else to play today, and everybody wants to play Fort. Let's play Fort. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I've played more Fortnite than any game on my computer over the years, but streaming Red Dead 2 was something. I'm like a really massive Rockstar fan. I can't clear my throat, and like when a new GTA is announced, I go into like little boy waiting for Christmas mode and start digging up screenshots and rumors and shit.
Yeah.
So when Red Dead was coming out, that's Grand Theft Auto Wild West. So I was hyped for it, and that was at a time late 2018 that my stream had a lot more viewers than it does now. It was up to like 30 ish per stream, and it was just fun. It was so much fun playing this masterpiece of a game with people following through the story and just reveling at every moment. It was just there was never a bad moment streaming Red Dead.
That's amazing.
It's just a great time.
Community can really like enhance the experience as well, can't it?
Yeah,
Especially with that
totally.
kind of game. Yeah, like big open world game, and it can sort of help out and
Yeah.
follow the plot beats with you and react and all that kind of thing. It's so much fun.
Because
Amazing.
when you play a game like that, and let's say I have a room of 15 people, and I'm playing a game that I'm enthralled in, and I'm just just super invested in it, but everybody else isn't. They're not really paying attention. They're just like, so blah 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 blah. It's still a great time, having a great time. I'm chatting, I'm streaming. But when those people in your chat are like at the same time that engaged,
Mm.
and you're like, hey, we're all feeling this, and it really takes like a masterpiece of a game that everybody's hyped for that to happen, and it hasn't happened any other time except for maybe God of War was another time that it came close to being like a big hype stream where everybody
Boy.
paid attention the whole time.
No worries. Good times. What about your least favorite game then that you streamed?
Oh man. See, that's a hard question. I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna find the answer, but it's a hard question
Yeah.
because I don't typically play games I don't like. And you
Yeah.
say, well, stream, how do you know you're not gonna like it? And it's because I've refined my taste enough that I can sit there and read a description and see screenshots and make a good enough judgment that I know if I'm going to like it
Mm.
before I play it. But so there's not very many games I've played that I don't like. But
Sometimes
as far
you
as
can play.
like streaming,
You can play a good
like
game that you don't enjoy streaming, I guess.
right? So like as far as playing a game that I don't know. Let's say that's such a hard question. Maybe something like anytime I've ever tried to stream a Call of Duty game, be it Warzone or any other form of Call of Duty, I don't like doing it because everybody streams Call of Duty. I don't even really like Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like it's if there's a new Call of Duty game and you stream it, you get COD people in your stream that are COD people, which for better or worse, I'm not a COD person.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'll like when I play Call of Duty by myself off stream, I enjoy it because it takes me back to playing Call of Duty. I've been playing Call of Duty since Call of Duty on my PC back in the day.
Yeah.
And that's what I think when I think Call of Duty, but that's not what the Call of Duty fan base thinks about.
Yeah.
So playing COD by myself is it's like it's just a fun like look at how this has evolved over the years type of experience. But playing it on stream is like I have to be one of these people that I'm not. So I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like too much fun.
Yeah, I know your feels on that with the Call of Duty thing as well because I was there for like the start of it, and I think World at War was one that was probably the one I enjoyed the most. But like all the newer stuff, like I've done like the Ghost Guys and all that kind of stuff. It just kind of gets a bit, but it's nice to see how things are transitioning with it. So I kind of get that vibe of it.
Right.
It's like you're keeping along. You know, you get that family visit on the odd occasion. You say, "Oh, how you doing? Yeah, I've been great, and this is what I've done this year." You know.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the sort of the community of the game, isn't it? That's on Twitch. So, for example, not that long ago, I actually streamed Five Nights at Freddy's, and that was an interesting experience. Honestly, because it's one of those games that has its own community, isn't it? So I streamed it. Like in terms of numbers, it was a great stream. I like so many more people than I normally would, and the sort of the chatters were all like new chatters and all this kind of thing. But they're there for the game, and it was just a very sort of busy stream, and I was like, it was really good fun just as a one-off, but I could not have like done that on a regular. I don't think I just ended up going insane. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's that kind of similar thing, isn't it? It's where the people go to the game on Twitch rather than stay around for the for the person playing it.
It takes a certain kind of person who is, you got to think about those kids who who have strict parents who say the games are $70. You get one this year, and they're like, I want the new Call of Duty. you know what I mean? And they wait until COD comes out and they get COD because all their friends are gonna play COD. And when they go to Twitch, they're looking for COD content, not new streamers.
Yeah.
Yeah, from their perspective, they're going to want the game that the most number of their friends have, so that they can connect to their friends, on that, not just physically online, but when they go to school and they can talk about it, that kind of thing. So, I suppose those kind of it makes a certain amount of sense. But yeah, I think that's kind of one of the reasons why Fortnite took off. Apart from anything else, it's free, and then everyone can talk about it and play together. So, what about? I like this question, even though I'm a bit biased, but a game that you really enjoyed playing but your community have just been like, nah, mate, move on, or or nah, mate, we're not going to show up for this one.
Hmm. That's a good question too. You got to remember, I have a big back catalog of streaming, and my stream has had ups and downs. I don't know. I want to go to like I want to say NBA 2K, but that's not necessarily true because the way I presented because I love 2K. The way I presented it was let's play through the story, and I used the face scan to make it me, and it looked exactly like me. And they were all like, it was like watching a story, watching me play basketball, and people were into that story. And once it got past the story and was like, now you have to play 300 games to get to the championship, I was like, I'm all in. And they were like, okay, next game. And I was like, all right, this is an off stream kind of thing now. But when I was streaming it for that week going through the story, people were actually engaged and want to know what happened next. And then it just got to the real game, which is grinding basketball. And they were like, next.
Right. Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
That's fine.
It can be quite
But
hard
I love it. I played off stream. I love
yeah.
games like that people don't want to see.
I never knew it had the facial thing though. That whole like reconstruction thing. That's cool as hell.
Yeah, that's
like
really cool.
that.
I remember seeing a friend of mine play a WWE game that had that. But it was a slightly older game, and it looked really cursed. I thought it was hilarious. It was
It
brilliant.
didn't have like a
to my
Game Boy camera
Instagram.
attached to it or something, did it?
It was a bit
I'm
blocky.
gonna go to my
and-
Instagram and find the picture and pull it up just so you guys can see it because it's amazing. I've never been able to get it as good in any other game, but it's amazing. It looks exactly like I'm a Chicago Bull.
Dude, that is so cool.
It
It's
is
like
so
they
cool.
put me in the game. There it is.
I wish I could show you the image of what I'm talking about because honestly, it was hilarious.
Oh my god, that's genius! Look at that is so cool.
I will show.
It
the
looks
style
just
of
like
resume.
me.
Yeah.
I was blown away. I was like, I'm gonna play this forever. I'm a Chicago Bull. I'm 6'6". It's a
That
whole
is
foot taller than I am.
amazing.
Right, let me get this so that the viewers can actually see it because that is amazing. There it is. It does look a lot like you. Oh, that's quite uncanny.
That is
It's
brilliant.
crazy.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
incredible.
we had a great time playing that because it was like I knew I had to do something to make it not just me playing basketball because you have 2K streamers who just sit in my park and play PvP with people, and I don't want to be that person.
Mm.
I wanted to be the streamer that I am and show something new and present a new game to people. So I went through the new story up until it was no longer interesting to watch and it was just fun to play.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
That's very cool. That's exactly because that's literally like the definition of essentially what, in many ways, streams are supposed to be doing, which is obviously adding value to something
Right.
that's already there, which is the game. So that's
Right.
brilliant. That's exactly the kind of thing that most people would want to see. That's fantastic. I wish I was around for that.
I still want to play the new 2K, but I'm waiting for a sale. I don't pay $60 for 2K unless it's been 5 years. That's the last time I
Wait
did
a
that.
second. The new 2K. Well, it doesn't 2K mean 2000, right? That means the year 2000, right?
It's 2K22. That's what it is now.
Right.
So,
Okay.
NBA 2K22 is the new one.
I kind
Right.
of find those kind of games a bit like, because we have FIFA over here for soccer and all that kind of stuff, and every year it's a new FIFA that comes out, and it always just looks like the same kind of game for the gameplay purposes, but they just change the rosters around and bring in the new players. That's pretty much it. Is that similar with
different
2K?
UI, different menu. This is, I mean, sorta. But the thing I love about 2K is it's full. It's so full. I can buy 2K19 and play through the career for the whole year, and then buy 2K20 and play my team mode. But both of those modes were present, and there's enough content crammed into each mode to keep me busy for a year if I really want to. Like, there's so much in those games that you can do. Many players get the game, go straight online, and never leave the my park. Just play people. And there's, like, I agree that it's very sameish with little tweaks. That's why I only pay full price every 5 years or so when there's enough of a difference between the last one I paid full price for.
That's a good
But
idea. Yeah.
I think 2K is kind of like a basketball RPG. Like, you make your character and then there's stats, and every time you play a game, depending on how you performed in that game, you'll get coins, and you use those coins to level up those stats. And you can either pay real money for those coins, you can grind for them, whatever, but your character will progress and you'll get a higher ranking, which is essentially your skill. So you can make any kind of basketball player that you want, spending those coins and building up certain ways of play. And you can edit all the animations and everything. And really, no two ball players are the same that you meet on the court. It's way more of a simulation than it is a game.
That's
Amazing.
cool.
That's why
I like that.
it.
It does seem like a bit of a cash cow, though, doesn't it? Like, especially when you come to things like we were mentioning earlier, like FIFA and Madden and that kind of thing, where every year they bring out another very slightly tweaked game where they basically just copied everything over and changed a few things, and then they charge you full price for a AAA title. And you're just like, hold on just a second, it just doesn't seem quite right. And you do, I mean, you do get other other genres that do it, like Call of Duty kind of does it a little bit as well, but I mean, famously, it's the sports ones, isn't it, that bring one out every year, and it's just a tiny little tweak. It does seem a little bit, I don't know, dishonest isn't the right word. It's because it's not dishonest. It's balls out. This is basically the same game. It just seems like they're overcharging you. But I think your idea of only buying one every 5 years or anything,
right? Because
that.
they all go on sale. They all go on sale. And if I'm gonna buy it on sale for $15, I don't care if the new one's out. I can play through that one a little bit. If I bought it for $60, I feel bad in a year.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've just bought this for $60, and there's already a new one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
That's why I don't buy COD.
Yeah.
When it comes out, it's
bring
too
out a new
expensive. It
one.
comes out too often. If they brought one out every 2 years, I'd buy it.
Yeah, and then
The only
Assassin's
annual
Creed.
franchise I've ever bought is Assassin's Creed, and now it's not annual anymore.
Yeah, but the whole reason why, obviously, that every time they brought out a new one, and on the annual thing, it just gradually got worse and worse until they're like,
People hated them. I love Assassin. I love all of them.
yeah, but they fixed them.
Yeah, I love
didn't
them
they?
all.
And then
They were all great.
Yeah.
They didn't suffer from what sports games suffer from, where it's like, oh, it's the same thing. It was a drastically different setting, an entire 50-hour story, a whole new character, a whole new way of attack. Everything was always different, drastically different. And people were like, this is trash. Why do I got to go to the future? I don't understand. And it's like, that's the best part about Assassin's Creed, is that it takes place in the modern day, and that they're training for the same fight that's happening now between the governments and whatever, you know what I mean? Like, the grand scale of Assassin's Creed and how each game is so different from each other while still coming out every single year is what blows me away with it. It's one of my favorite franchises ever. And now, obviously it's not annual and the games are better for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ultimately, I think certainly I would, and I think most gamers would probably prefer, slightly more spaced out releases if the games are better for it.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think then,
Definitely.
Hippo? You're keeping very quiet on this subject.
Well, I've always been intrigued by Assassin's Creed, and I'll put my hands up completely. I've never actually completed one. I've played a bit of Assassin's Creed 1, but went through this kind of weird stage where, like, I started playing it, and then a new thing came out. I was like, ooh, this looks cool, and then I never got back to it. But it always looks like such a fascinating and wonderful game. It really does. Didn't they do, like, they did a London one for a bit and all these kind of bits and bats, and I love
the London one's
historical.
great.
Yeah, I love the whole history behind London, and to be able to go through the streets and stuff would be really cool. But it's
like Gangs of London style. It's I don't know what time frame, 1800s maybe.
Yeah. They always look
Height of
great, and I
London.
like the fact that you can go back in time, essentially, even if it's not just for the combat game and stuff like that. But the fact that they get you to go into a world of the past and you can wander around, I like that, because I was always like, I've been playing a lot recently. I'm a big Civ 5 kind of guy, or like Anno games and stuff like that, where you can build like these period pieces and stuff like that. And it's nice that you've got a game that you can actually go in and delve into it, and because it's open world as well, isn't it? I remember Assassin's Creed 1 was pretty much open world. You just wander around and then jump into a hay bale somewhere, which is always fantastic.
It's so cool to look at the evolution of that series, because if you remember what Assassin's Creed 1 was known for, it was one of the first new impressive PS3 games. It was one of the first HD games, and people were so excited about, like, crowds. Like, you could walk into a crowd and he would shove people away, and it was like a dynamic, and they were like, what? The animations look fluid? Look at games we have now. Like, look at Red Dead 2. And
it brought a lot to the scene. It really did.
People are hating on Battlefield like it's trash, and that game is so beautiful looking. But back in Assassin's Creed day, it was a clappable thing that pushed a person away when you walk through a crowd.
I think a lot of people have a lot of more expectations now, because the competition is so much higher to a degree. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. There's a lot of indie games out
But
there, but
still,
even indies are
also,
developed hugely.
I feel like it's a very, very rare thing for most gamers to look back and just remember exactly how they felt. It's easy to look back and be like, San Andreas was fun. It was a fun game back in the day. You know what I mean? But it's
Mhm.
another thing to remember how you felt while you played that game. And I think that like if I jump into Battlefield and I'm like, oh, I'm not having fun. This is crappy. I need a reality check. I need to rewind and think about playing Battlefield 2, Battlefield 1942. Like think about it and think
Mhm.
about what I'm playing now and just enjoy where we're at.
I have
You
a
know what I
lot of
mean?
fond memories of San Andreas, not just because of how good the game was, but I remember like leaving my console on at night and just putting the radio on and just chilling out to the radio while lying down or something like that. And just, it was great times, and having Laszlo come on or some shit like that, you know what I mean? Or whatever was going on at the time. It was just, oh, I loved all that stuff. It was so cool.
There's,
And I did it
This,
with most of them, to be fair.
there's
despite
definitely
all the negative shit, I highly recommend the definitive edition.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, amazing!
Yeah.
Because that's what one that I keep thinking I should look into that because it's the kind of game that looks like it'd be totally up my street, and it's just something I've never really quite gotten myself into. I
Yeah,
really
they're
like
so good.
watch quite a lot of gameplay of what's the most recent one called?
GTA 5.
No, I'm talking about Assassin's Creed.
Oh, Assassin's Creed.
Oh, Valhalla.
Valhalla, that's right. I watched quite a lot of gameplay of that when it first came out because loads of people are streaming it, and it honestly looks great. It looks like loads of fun. Aside from all the bugs that hopefully have been fixed by now, you never know. But yeah, it looked like really good fun, and quite a lot of it actually takes place in England as well.
Yeah.
And they've gone through quite a lot of effort to make the topography actually like almost concerningly accurate.
Yeah.
It's really good to the point where, like, I mean, my town isn't there because it's set more than 1,000 years ago. But you can go to there, and like all of the hills is all there, and like the rivers there, and it's ridiculous. It's amazing.
That's my favorite part about Assassin's Creed is that they take something that is as historically accurate as possible and inject their assassin into it. And the assassins are supposed to be hidden, so the history books wouldn't talk of them anyway. So it's
Yeah,
almost like they're real. Like Ezio was part of the reason coffee was invented. You know, like he's the reason that coffee was invented.
yeah,
In Assassin's Creed 2, I forget the scene, but someone he's literally the reason that the person was like, "Oh, coffee," you know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like Ezio Auditore isn't in the history books in real life for the coffee thing, but he could have been. If you
Yeah.
read the history books, all they did was take the real thing and inject Ezio into it as the secret guy the history books wouldn't talk about. And that's what Assassin's Creed is about, is giving us a very accurate but fantastical look at historical moments in time.
Yeah,
It's cool.
that's amazing. I do like it when they can sort of make it so that it could sort of fit into real life like that.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I always loved Stargate SG-1 because they always managed to make it so that it kind of made a certain amount of sense in the real world. Do you know what I mean? Like all of the gods and all that were like gods that we worshipped in the past, like Egyptian gods, Greek gods, Norse gods, and all this kind of thing. And they made it so that Stargate commands underneath the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, which is a real NORAD base and all this kind of thing. Amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah, good stuff. They even to the point where apparently in Sonora Place they've got a door that says Stargate Command, but it's just a broom closet, or that's what they want to. That's what they want you to believe. So I want to ask, sort of, what would you say is like your favorite sort of gaming experience that you've had in your whole life? I think this is one I haven't asked before. It's quite a hard one, but
I can pick from a couple, but there was a time when I would have said my first time playing through Ocarina of Time because that
Nice.
changed my whole life. But as an adult, thinking hard about every experience I've ever had in gaming and thinking about that kid who was playing Ocarina of Time and what he would say, what he's looking forward to, I think my most incredible experience in gaming so far was unboxing, hooking up, and using my Vive on launch day. VR, full room scale VR, was just like something that as a kid you're like, man,
Oh,
the
it's proper wet
future's
dream,
gonna
yeah.
have this, you know what I mean? And then like my future did, and I owned it, and I was like, this is the thing that I always said I wanted that would never exist. Let's see if it really is, you know. And I hooked it up, and I remember putting it on and like having my eyes closed and just being so nervous that I was gonna be disappointed. Because when you're hyped about something, You know what I mean?
Jesus
Like I was
Christ.
so nervous that it was going to be low res or whatever. And I opened my eyes and looked around, and I was standing in, this Valve space with hands in front of me, and I could have cried. I was like, "This is childhood me. I'm kid me right now, and I'm gonna have a great weekend. It's gonna be a good
That's wicked.
time."
Oh,
It's
amazing.
great. I'm still really hyped for like big proper AAA 50, 100-hour video games. Like playing Skyrim and Fallout and shit is great fun, especially with mods. But I
Mm.
want like new proper video games for it from, Sony, like big companies that are willing to give me something that's worth spending 60, $70 on.
Well, one day, maybe,
It's
we're very
hard.
lucky
It's
when
hard because
all of the planets align in an exactly straight line. We might get an Elder Scrolls 6.
maybe that
That'd
I'm
be nice.
sure that'll be VR eventually because Bethesda loves VR.
Yeah. Yeah, tripping over in VR because the rock doesn't load or something. Amazing. Now, I thought this would be a really good opportunity to have a chat about something that's actually happened really recently on Twitch, just before we go into segment 2. This is quite interesting. So, they've increased the number of emote slots we get. Have you seen this, Shroomy?
How
This
many emote slots
literally
am I
happened.
allowed now?
This
Oh,
literally
it's
happened like today
insane.
or yesterday. You can have, as an affiliate, is it 9?
I think it depends on how many in the bracket you've gone in, like the subbing kind of thing. Like if you've hit the sub brackets, because originally it used to be like you get 3 tier 1s, and then you get more as you've gotten past certain sub goals and stuff like that. But they've added more on top of that. They've allowed you to have animated emotes now.
Right.
You
So-
get free emotes for 5 free emotes for anyone who follows,
Right.
as well.
So, if you
it's
have
insane.
absolutely everything, you can have 5 animated emotes, 9 normal emotes. This is for a tier 1 sub if you've had 50 subs at some point before. That's then just a tier 1 plus. Obviously, you get your 5 follower emotes if you've had those. So I'm just having a look at Moon because Moon's already filled them all out because she's got so many
Wait,
background.
what do you mean 5 follower emotes? What, son?
So Moon doesn't have
Good
follower
job.
emotes yet, and
Go
she's
put
got
clothes on.
Child. 14 emotes for a tier 1 sub. If you've
That's
got follow,
crazy.
yeah, if you've got follower emotes are these ones that are rolling out on Twitch. It's still in like the beta phase. But if you've got them, then if someone follows you, then they can have 5 emotes that they can only use on your channel. So if you add that, that's 19 emotes and if you've got just a tier 1 sub and you're in that person's channel. Now that is crazy, isn't it? And
That's crazy.
It's really nice that they're giving us all this extra stuff, but from the perspective of the streamer, you're like, wait a minute, I'm now gonna unless you're literally an artist, you've got to pay someone to make these freaking emotes.
Yeah,
And they're like they're like $25 a piece.
Then again, I have a lot of emotes. Like Kilo made me a bunch of emotes, and I've always had this problem where I'm not sure which ones I want. Now I could just put them all on.
Yeah.
The other concerning one I've got at the moment is that they're doing bitty emotes as well. So people who have given you bits to a certain or cheered for a certain amount. So you've got like
I have a
1K,
few of those.
5K, not just the little symbols on the side, but you've got the 1K, 5K, 25K, 75K, and 100K, I think. So if they've given you that many bits, then you can give them an emote dedicated to them.
Yeah.
Fuck, you've got to sort out the priority on which one's the best for that one.
Both of those are my 2 bitty emotes for 1K and 5K.
Yeah. I can't figure it. I've only got myself. I've got 5 emotes that someone made for me a while ago, and that's it. So they've just been tier 1, for quite some time. I haven't got a tier 2. I haven't got a tier 3. I haven't got any bit emotes. I am planning on getting some more, but now I was gonna get 10, and I'm like, maybe I should get some more. But question, like, do you have money for that? It's it's a lot of money. Like sort of $25 for an emote doesn't sound like very much, but when you add it up, I mean, for 10 emotes, that's what $250. If you're then going to add even more to that, it starts to get really, really pricey, huh?
You gotta shop around. You gotta like go on Fiverr and find someone who's willing to make you one for 10, and like if it's good, be like, all right, this is a good one. You know what I mean? Like shop around.
Yeah, absolutely.
And try to spend as little as possible.
Or get a recommendation of a really good one and go with them. From a streamer friend that you know. It's pretty much.
I would recommend Kilo because he's the one that did actually both of those emotes that you're looking at. He did all my emotes that are pictures, that are drawings,
Yeah.
and not actual pictures. But I can never reach him.
Yeah.
Sometimes he disappears off Discord for like 3 months, and then he comes back like, "Hey, I'm fine, I'm alive. Let's chill," and then disappears again. So if he ever comes back, point him in your direction. He's a great
Amazing.
artist. He doesn't charge a lot.
Chattisfied